What if your final thought is the only moment you ever truly see your life? Imagine everything, every choice, every whisper, every silent judgment unfolding before you, not in a blur, but with piercing clarity, not as a distant memory, but as a living experience where you feel the profound ripple of every action you ever took. This is not some abstract idea, it is a consistent report from people who have stood at the very edge of existence and then returned. Across cultures, across centuries, and across thousands of personal accounts, those who come close to death describe a panoramic life review. It's not a random slideshow of images, but an emotionally charged sequence where you perceive not just what you did, but how it landed in the hearts and minds of others. You might feel the joy you brought to a friend, or the quiet pain you unknowingly inflicted on a stranger. This experience is reported as more real, more vivid than anything in ordinary waking life. This extraordinary phenomenon sparks a deep inquiry. Is this fleeting glimpse of eternity merely the brain's final, desperate attempt to make sense of itself as it ceases to function? Or is it a profound awakening, a brief moment when consciousness expands beyond its physical limits, offering a glimpse into a deeper intelligence of reality? It's a question that whispers through ancient spiritual texts and resonates with modern scientific observations. Neuroscientists have even recorded intense, organized brain activity in the precious seconds after the heart stops, a surge of energy that might very well be the canvas upon which this final, luminous review unfolds. The implications are profound, hinting at a secret held within the very fabric of life and death, waiting to be understood. Stay with us as we journey into these profound depths. By the end, you'll gain a deeper understanding of what might happen at the edge of death and how your choices echo beyond what you perceive. If you find yourself drawn to these deeper questions about consciousness and reality, consider subscribing. It's how you tell the algorithms to keep showing you the content that truly resonates with your inner seeker. The heart falters, breath stills, and in that void, something extraordinary often begins. Thousands of accounts from those who have touched the veil of death describe a phenomenon so consistent it defies simple dismissal, the life review. It's reported as a full-spectrum playback of their entire existence, from the earliest childhood memories to the very moment of their medical crisis. This isn't a passive viewing, it's an active re-experiencing. People describe observing their past actions as if from a detached vantage point, often feeling as though they are outside their own bodies, yet simultaneously enveloped in a profound moral clarity. What consistently emerges from these narratives is the intense emotional echo. Individuals who once caused others pain find themselves feeling that pain with excruciating clarity, experiencing the fear, humiliation, or sorrow they inflicted, not as an abstract thought, but as a visceral reality from the victim's perspective. Conversely, every act of kindness, every moment of genuine compassion, no matter how small or forgotten, is magnified and re-experienced as immense joy and warmth emanating from the recipient. This empathetic immersion is a hallmark of the experience, offering an unvarnished understanding of the true impact of one's presence in the world. It's a sensory feast, too, often described as encompassing not just sights, but sounds, smells, and even the textures of moments long past. This is not a faded memory, it is a reliving, so vivid that survivors often state it felt more real than their waking life, imbued with a clarity and depth that normal perception rarely allows. The experience is utterly unforgettable, carving itself into the deepest layers of being, fundamentally altering one's perception of reality. Researchers like Dr. Bruce Greyson, drawing from decades of collecting these detailed reports, highlight how these NDE memories are consistently described as more vivid and more real than ordinary memories, sometimes even more real than waking life itself. Dr. Pim van Lommel's pioneering work with cardiac arrest survivors provided compelling evidence of conscious experiences occurring during periods of clinical brain inactivity. The AWARE study, led by Dr. Sam Parnia, continues to explore the possibility of verifiable perceptions during these critical moments, further challenging conventional understandings of consciousness. The sheer volume and consistency of these experiences across diverse cultures and belief systems suggests something beyond mere individual anomaly. Modern neuroscience, in its relentless search for answers, has indeed offered intriguing findings. The accidental recording of brain activity from a dying patient revealed a surge in gamma waves in the precious seconds surrounding cardiac arrest. Gamma oscillations are associated with high-level cognitive functions, including memory retrieval and conscious perception. Materialist theories often propose that this final burst of neural activity is the brain's last attempt to make sense of its impending dissolution, perhaps a dramatic release of endorphins and other neurochemicals in response to severe oxygen deprivation, leading to a profound, dreamlike state. Yet, for those who experience it, this clarity doesn't feel like a mere hallucination. It feels like the most truthful and meaningful moment of their existence. It presents a paradox. How can a dying brain give birth to such a coherent, deeply meaningful experience, often described as transcending the limitations of linear time and ordinary perception? This moment, occurring at the precipice of oblivion, prompts a quiet question. Is this experience merely preparing us for the transition of death, or is it revealing a fundamental truth about the nature of life itself? The profound and lasting transformations reported by survivors, a newfound compassion, a release from the fear of death, a reordering of life's priorities, underscore the depth of this inner experience, suggesting its impact far exceeds that of a simple physiological event. The sheer intensity and profound clarity of the life review present us with a deep philosophical fork in the road. On one path, we encounter the compelling explanations offered by our biological understanding. From this perspective, the life review is seen as a neurological event, a kind of internal fireworks display as the brain's intricate systems begin to fail. As oxygen levels plummet and neurons misfire, the brain might release a cascade of potent neurochemicals known to induce vivid, hallucinatory states and a rapid-fire retrieval of memories. This final, chaotic surge of information could be interpreted by the dying mind as a panoramic review, perhaps even serving an evolutionary purpose, offering a sense of closure or a pathway to peace in the face of inevitable dissolution. The brain, in its final moments, could be painting its most elaborate illusion, a last attempt at coherence before silence. This materialist view, while robust in its grounding in neurobiology, considers consciousness to be an entirely emergent property arising from the brain. When the intricate dance of neurons and synapses ceases, so too does the light of conscious awareness, making the life review the final, fleeting flicker before oblivion. Yet, there is another path, one less traveled by conventional science, but deeply resonant with ancient wisdom traditions. This view suggests that consciousness is not merely a product of the brain, but rather something more fundamental, something that the brain acts as a receiver or a filter for. In this framework, death is not the end of consciousness, but rather the moment when that filter drops away. As the physical body ceases its functions, consciousness is said to expand, unshackled from its biological constraints. The life review then becomes a moment of profound cosmic awakening, where the soul or true self reclaims its full, unfettered memory, seeing its journey from an unclouded, universal perspective. Here, consciousness is often seen as non-local, not confined to the skull, or even as fundamental, a basic property of reality itself, much like space and time. Concepts like panpsychism explore the idea that proto-conscious properties exist at even the most basic levels of existence, with human consciousness being a complex manifestation of this universal awareness. At death, this individual manifestation may dissolve back into the larger conscious field, offering a unique moment of retrospective insight. Consider the stark contrasts this presents. The very organ thought to produce consciousness is shutting down, yet the individual reports experiencing the most lucid moment of their existence. Memory, often fragile and linear in life, becomes panoramic and instantaneous at death. The ego, with its protective layers and self-deceptions, begins to dissolve, yet the underlying self feels more alive, more authentic than ever before. This paradox invites us to look beyond simplistic explanations. How can a system in collapse generate such unparalleled order and meaning? If the brain is merely a tuner for consciousness, then perhaps at death, the static clears and the full symphony of our being is finally revealed. Many mystical traditions have long spoken of a similar experience. In Tibetan Buddhism, the journey through the bardo states after death includes moments where one's karmic imprints are said to play back, not as an external judgment, but as an internal self-experience truth. Hinduism speaks of the soul carrying the samskaras, the imprints of all actions and thoughts, which guide its next journey, implying a moment of profound karmic reckoning at death. Even in early Christian thought, the metaphorical book of life, or the concept of a particular judgment, suggests an ultimate unveiling of one's deeds before a higher truth. If you were to see the full truth of your life right now with such unvarnished clarity, could you bear it? What kind of truth might that reveal about the very nature of existence? The profound insights gleaned from near-death experiences, particularly the life review, invite us to reconsider our everyday reality. If at the threshold of death we are granted a panoramic, empathetic view of our lives, what does this imply about the very nature of our existence right now? It suggests that life itself is a constant, subtle reflection, mirroring our actions and intentions back to us, though we are often too distracted or too deeply immersed in our own perspectives to perceive it. The final review, then, might not be an anomaly, but simply the moment when the distortions clear, and we finally see the truth that was always present. Imagine that every choice, every word, every subtle energetic exchange leaves an indelible impression, not just on the world around us, but within the subtle fabric of consciousness itself. This is the essence of moral gravity, the invisible weight and emotional consequence that our actions carry, whether we are immediately aware of them or not. The life review indicates that these ripples of impact do not simply vanish. They persist, waiting for the moment when our awareness expands enough to fully comprehend them. This profound recognition often leads to a radical transformation in the lives of NDE survivors. They frequently report a profound shift away from materialistic pursuits and ego-driven ambitions, moving instead towards a deep dedication to compassion, service, and genuine connection. The fleeting value of external validation pales in comparison to the enduring weight of felt empathy. Knowing, at a core level, that one's actions leave an undeniable energetic imprint imbues every choice with a deeper sense of responsibility. Ancient wisdom traditions have long intuited this truth, teaching that ultimate judgment is not an external decree handed down by a distant deity, but rather an intrinsic process. It is a moment of profound self-realization where one becomes both the witness and the judged, not in a spirit of condemnation, but from a place of radical understanding. In the vivid re-experiencing of the life review, there is no external accuser, only the undeniable felt truth of one's own being and its undeniable connections to all others. This is a powerful, transformative moment, offering a profound teaching. We are not merely actors on a stage, but living conduits of impact, shaping the unseen reality with every gesture. It encourages a heightened state of conscious living, where each decision is weighed not just by its immediate outcome, but by its ripple effect on others and on our own inner landscape. Perhaps the deepest revelation of the life review is this: the final moment of clarity isn't something that begins only when we die. Perhaps it's a latent capacity, a potential for boundless insight residing within us at every moment. The edge of death might simply be the catalyst that allows us to finally access this profound inner mirror, the one that was always there, reflecting our essence, waiting for us to truly see. It is an invitation to live with the wisdom that this ultimate review offers, to cultivate empathy and kindness as guiding principles, not out of fear of a future judgment, but out of a profound understanding of our interconnectedness here and now. So what does this final thought, this panoramic journey through a life, truly reveal? It doesn't offer a simple answer, but it offers something far more profound, a gateway to deeper awareness. It suggests that perhaps, at the very end, we don't vanish into oblivion, but rather awaken into a heightened state of clarity, where the true nature of our existence is finally perceived. This moment of ultimate review, whether a final flicker of a dying brain or a glimpse of a greater reality, whispers a consistent truth. Every action, every intention, resonates with an impact far beyond what we typically understand. It invites us to live now with a quiet urgency, guided by the understanding that our lives are meaningful. Perhaps the last thought isn't something that comes when we die at all. Perhaps it's what we carry through life, unnoticed, waiting within us until everything else falls away and we finally see the true, undeniable reflection of who we are. If this stirred something in you, please give this video a like and consider subscribing. You're not alone in this journey of inquiry. There's more insights waiting for you. Watch one of the 2 videos on your screen now and keep exploring these profound questions with us. Thanks for watching.